Well, good morning and welcome to the show. Jeff Beals here at your service. This is the only show in the entire metro area that talks about business expansion, real estate, construction, economic development, anything related to Omaha becoming a more vibrant and prosperous place. Glad you are here with us. Our sponsors today, as always, are Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing and Siding. And now, without any further ado, it's time to bring on my co-host, a man who is absolutely legendary in commercial real estate here in this town, Trenton Magid.
Good morning, Jeff. Good morning, everyone. And this is our favorite day to come to the studio.
My least favorite day of the year is Dundee Days. Now, don't let that discourage you from coming to Underwood Avenue in downtown Dundee and taking advantage and enjoying everything that Dundee Days is. But when you come to the radio station looking for a parking spot, my least favorite day of the year.
And the police block off numerous roads to get here. It's kind of a maze to get here.
Yes, but that said, once you get here, you will have fun because right outside the KFAB studio, all sorts of displays and booths. I saw people eating pancakes, so it must be the Pancake Man.
Bounce houses.
Another guy that had to kind of weave his way around looking for a parking spot to make it here to the KFAB studio is Brad Underwood, Brad Williams here on Underwood Avenue. I actually know a Brad Underwood.
Yeah.
I know Brad Underwood, but Brad Williams from Brad Williams Photography and E&A Consulting. Brad, good morning.
Yeah, if I knew I was going to weave my way through Dundee, I would have not ordered flip-flops.
That was not such. And the crazy thing is, we were reminded by KFAB that this was Dundee Days, and this morning I completely forgot.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, gentlemen, let's go into our news of the week, which is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage. Eagle Mortgage Company does mortgages, all sorts of mortgages, whether it's USDA, VA, FHA, conventional loans. But the thing with them is they do such a good job of listening. They listen to their customers, their clients, and understand what their needs are and their goals are with financing a house. And they work with multiple banks to match you with the best possible solution. Remember, with a mortgage broker like Eagle Mortgage, they're not beholden to one bank, and so they can find the best choice for you. You can find them in person, 114th and Davenport, or online at eaglemortgagecompany.com. Guys, for the news, we have to start off with the Riverfront Parks.
Wow.
Holy cow.
Brad has a first-hand account. You've been there for a week.
Yeah, it feels like it. I was there for over 8 hours yesterday taking pictures for Mecca, and it's an awesome park. I mean, really everything feels bigger in person than the renderings made it look out to be, and the crowd was fantastic last night.
Was it packed?
Yeah, it was. I left at 10 o'clock, and I think that was the busiest the park was the whole day. It was just people kept coming and coming.
10 o'clock at night?
At night, yeah.
It built and built and built as the day went on.
Lighting. What I haven't seen on yet is those big light boxes that shoot graphics. No, this is more
the Gene Leahy.
The Jane Leahy. Have you seen those on?
Yeah, they were on the opening weekend. And
I saw those
time to time.
Last year when they had the opening weekend and all that down there. They were pretty cool. They don't run them all the time. It's just special occasions. But anyway,
the whole 90 acres is open now.
Yeah, the two new parks, Heartland of America Park and Lewis and Clark Landing, opened yesterday. I took about hour and a half yesterday afternoon and walked through both of them, saw everything. And guys, I will say, and it'll be interesting, Brad, since you spent so much time there to hear what you think. But from my perspective, a few things jumped out. One, the lakefront, the new lakefront, which is basically like a sidewalk that runs along a big chunk of the Heartland of America Fountain Lake. Very cool, very clean, nice sight lines. Another thing that jumped out, the landscaping and including a lot of stone and rock, very, very impressive. Because unlike Gene Leahy Mall, Heartland of America Park has tremendous grade changes and a lot of topography in it. The size of the kids' playground on Lewis and Clark Landing, and then the cool factor of the urban beach on Lewis and Clark Landing, all very impressive.
Describe that.
I'll let Brad describe a little more because he's been down there so much.
It's almost like a giant sandbox, but one of the quotes I heard last night from someone that came and said, when they first said urban beach, I thought, oh, that's lame. What are they going to do on an urban beach? But once you actually saw kids playing in the sand last night, and there was a couple out having a picnic. They brought their big beach blanket and they had a picnic on the beach. It looks really cool.
And then go ahead, Trent.
How about that cantilevered part that looks like fish scales?
That's like everyone makes a beeline for that. They get in the park and you just see a straight line back to that. It's a really neat view. It hangs out almost to the river, but it has a great view of the river. Last night I was up there. A barge came down the river. Haven't seen a barge on the Missouri River in a long time.
Architecturally, it just looks really neat.
Yeah.
They call it the Farnham Pier. And that was the thing. Remember, they brought in that massive crane, and the whole thing was assembled off-site and lifted into that spot by that crane. It's really, really cool.
Okay, the skate ribbon. Now, I haven't seen inline skates or quads, as they call them, skaters around town for years. It seems like roller skating hasn't been real popular now. So were there many skaters on there?
Yeah, there was. I almost feel like they brought some roller skating ringers in, because there were people doing all, like, if you think of the stereotypical roller skating, and they're doing their crossing their legs and bouncing up and down and all that. I mean, there was a lot of people out there.
I think people saw the opportunity of a brand new place to skate, but I think the ice skating is going to be a heck of a lot more popular.
Yeah, so they rent skates, but you saw a lot of people bringing their own too.
I think another cool factor was the outdoor patio for Fig, the restaurant that is part of the Kiewit Luminarium. First of all, it's very, very big. Yesterday, they had 2 portable bars set up there, and with everything else going on, it was just a real nice vibe. When I was walking, I grabbed a beverage there, because it was hot and windy yesterday. And I remembered thinking, I wish I had more time. I would have just sit here and kind of take it all in.
You know what's interesting about this? It's up to $400 million or something, this park, right?
If you count the Kiewit Luminarium.
Right, okay. So the benefactors, the stakeholders, the usual names that you see, you don't hear their names associated with this park. It's like they're so quiet. These people are giving tens of millions of dollars and giving back to Omaha and doing something they didn't have to do, regardless of how much money they have. It's pretty neat how quiet they are, and they're letting the Omaha's riverfront park be itself.
They're
not naming it really.
Yeah, there's one real nice
tribute
to them in the Gene Leahy Mall with all their names on it. But other than that,
rightfully so.
You cannot.
All right, give us $30 million and you can put your name on this stone. Okay.
You cannot imagine if you haven't been down there, folks, you cannot imagine what their generosity has created. I mean, I'm a pretty well-traveled guy. I've been to a lot of downtown areas, and what we have down there, you just don't see anywhere else. I mean, not only the scope of the park, but the cleanliness of it. The fact that
you see people picking up trash.
The fact that Mecca is managing it. How many parks are actively managed and programmed by an organization that manages stadiums and convention centers? Everything about it, first class, smash hit, home run. The amount of activity this thing will generate in the downtown area for years to come probably can't be overstated. Throw in the streetcar coming in a few years. You're just going to see more and more and more dense real estate development around these parks in the downtown area.
So you always hear about the skate ribbon and the Farnham Pier, but there's so many little things that don't get attention. There's 2 bocce courts there that are probably the nicest bocce courts in the entire Midwest. Huge picnic tables. They have a fire pit next to the bocce court. They have an awning for shade. And then you go across. The cool thing is these paths in this park kind of point towards each different thing. So right past the skating ribbon that people don't, I didn't see anyone using it yesterday, but they have 2 horseshoe pits. When's the last time you've seen a horseshoe pit? And then you go down behind the Luminarium, there's 6 volleyball courts. They were having a volleyball tournament last night. There was a ton of people down there at the volleyball. And then still under construction, there's a pickleball court. So there's a lot of activities.
So much free entertainment for everybody.
And I think you can, for every single activity there, Mecca provides or has the game cart that has the necessary balls or horseshoes or whatever to go with them.
That's why the programming and management part of it's so important. Trenton, you'll love this. The name of the urban beach has its own name. Very cool.
What is it?
Nebraska Beach. I think that's kind of neat. They call it Nebraska Beach. Of course, you wouldn't wade into the water at Nebraska
Beach. Probably wouldn't
Beach.
want Omaha Beach.
Yeah, that has a different name and connotation altogether. All right, well, we have a couple other news items we want to get to today. First of all, we go down to Offutt Air Force Base. This is kind of a cool story. We've got some big buildings going in that area. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers has awarded Turner Construction, which is one of our Grow Omaha sponsors, a $389 million contract to construct 2 buildings at the base. These are part of a project to elevate everything in the base, buildings and all of that, above the 100-year floodplain. That's important because in 2019, the Missouri River flood did a heck of a lot of damage to Offutt. At any rate, these facilities include the big one, a 3-story, 420,000 square foot operation. It's a non-kinetic operations center, if you want to be specific, that will house intelligence, training, maintenance, and reconnaissance squadrons. And then there'll be a 5,000 square foot defense courier station building that will serve as a shipping and receiving facility. December of 2027 is completion.
Did they talk about anything getting torn down, or are they replacing buildings, or are they just adding?
I toured the base a couple years ago, and that whole southeast corner all was flooded, and there was a lot of the buildings down there that had to come down. I don't know whether they've already torn them down or if they're going to as part of this project, but there was a lot of stuff that needed to be removed.
Our own Brian Thomas at our office, who's a broker like I am, for 24 years he served this United States in the Air Force, and he was a command chief there, and he was all involved with that and got to meet President Trump, and they mastered through that whole process.
We'll have to ask Brian about some of the stuff, because while he was at Offutt as command chief, he also served as the base historian during that time, so he might know the answer to those questions about what buildings were removed. The City Council has approved Forever North Real Estate's $72.5 million development at 24th and Lake Street. It will receive $9.5 million of tax increment financing. Great redevelopment project on the north side. There will be 2 buildings. One will face 24th Street. It will have 16,000 square feet of ground level commercial space, as well as 81,000 square feet of office space on the upper 3 floors. North End Teleservices will occupy the top 2 floors, pretty much put their whole operation there. And then the second building will be multifamily, 99 apartment units. Construction could begin as soon as this spring. And then, guys, how many professional volleyball teams is enough for a City of Omaha size?
Hopefully 2.
Answer is 2. Yeah, because we had already talked quite a bit about the Pro Volleyball Federation, pro women's volleyball team coming to Omaha. But now, this week, League One Volleyball out of Los Angeles announced that it will add Omaha to its current lineup of Salt Lake City, Atlanta, Houston, and Madison, Wisconsin. The Omaha team will start play after the 2024 Olympics in Paris.
So the other one, the Supernovas, will have a head start on them.
Yeah.
And they're going to play at the CHI. I wonder where the other league's going to play.
To the best of my knowledge, that has not been divulged, and we will kind of wait and see. But we do love our volleyball around here.
Well, I think there's plenty of opportunities for young girls to get into volleyball, and certainly this is a hotbed for that sport. And I just hope that people give it a shot and try.
I'll go down and see some. I mean, I'm not buying season tickets or anything like that, but I'll definitely go to a match here or there.
It's cool to have our name on a list with some of those other cities, too.
Yeah, Houston, Salt Lake City, Atlanta. Those are obviously massive markets. The Iowa Department of Transportation, here we go. More new freeway access. Trenton, you'll be proud to know that I drove on the new Interstate 29 the very first day it was open.
I'm sure you did.
I'm sure you're not surprised. Brad, have you done it yet?
Not the whole thing, no.
Jeff will schedule trips around new freeway systems.
Yeah, I'm like, no, I'm sorry, I can't do that speech in Cleveland because I-29 opens that day. But so I-29.
Nothing like the smell of fresh pavement.
Yeah, this smells pretty good, actually. I actually like the smell of concrete, but that's a whole nother problem that I have. But so I-29 had been closed just north and south of the 480 interchange for about a year and a half, all part of a $180 million complete rebuild of that interchange. Part of it's still not done, like the part where you're southbound 29 to westbound 480, that still has a ways to go, but the rest of it's done.
Such an improvement from what was there. And actually having an exit to Broadway now is much needed. It's just it was overdue.
Well, bring it
Very
home.
impressive.
By Lake Zorinsky, they're really going to town, widening that bridge, and from Center Street down to Q Street
On 168th.
They're going nuts.
Yeah. Impressive project. All right, fellas, let's take our first break of the hour. When we come back, we're going to do a company feature. We have with us John Anzaldo from Quantum Fiber. We're going to tell you about that company and what's unique and interesting about it. So stay with us. You're listening to Jeff Beals, Trenton Magid, and Brad Williams on Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing and Siding. Back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB. All right, big voice guy, cut it off. All right, back to Grow Omaha. Jeff Beals and Trenton Magid at your service. Brad Williams taking a little bit of a break. Well, he'll come back here in a moment. We're brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing and Siding. All right, we're going to talk. We like to feature companies on the show every once in a while, and today we're going to feature Quantum Fiber. And you might not recognize that name as being around Omaha a long time, but pretty soon you'll understand actually the company behind it has. But we have with us John Anzaldo. He is the Senior Midwest Regional Manager for Quantum Fiber. John, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Good to have you here. So as we always do with these company features, we're going to start first with the 30,000-foot view.
Yeah.
Give us an overview of Quantum Fiber.
Sure. Quantum Fiber is it's fiber optic internet. Right now, you'll notice that most of Omaha was used to just maybe one provider, and now that they have choices. We are in pockets of the Omaha metropolitan area. You mentioned earlier that we're in Dundee, so we are down here in Dundee, trying to give customers, different choices, different options, different speeds. That's the big thing, and it's all fiber optic internet. We do not do any of the old copper internet, so it's all the new age and what the future is.
So, what are the services?
So right now we service business to business. We also do residential. So if you're a small operating business and you need internet service, you need telephone, telecom, we will be your choice. Same with residential. We have teams going out talking with customers, trying to give them different options, finding out what they need. So not everybody needs certain speeds, and so we're able to customize what we offer to our clients.
So internet, does that include streaming services and things like that?
So it's internet, so you can stream. So if you have, say, Hulu or you have Netflix, you can go ahead and stream that. Anything that you would do in your home or your business to operate your business, that's what we offer.
Talking with John Anzaldo from Quantum Fiber. So I said that you might recognize the company behind it. What's the relationship with Lumen, and
Sure.
how long have you guys been in Omaha?
Sure. So Lumen Technologies is our parent company. Quantum Fiber is the product.
Okay.
So we've been in Omaha for a few years now, and we're just growing at a faster rate than we can keep up with. So Lumen Technologies is a worldwide company. So we're all around the United States, and we offer various services throughout the company. Big contracts, Department of Defense is something that we handle. So several contracts like that.
So when it comes to fiber optics, are you using your own line? So you need to get in the trenches and put it in, or are
Good
you
question.
piggybacking on other?
No, we do not. We do not piggyback. We do bore our own fiber optic internet. So if you ever look around the metropolitan area and you see the companies out there boring fiber optic internet, you see the big orange spools. That some of that is us as well. We also take. We're also proud to say that we take grant money. We apply for grants from the state, and we offer fiber optic internet to smaller towns in the city. Western Nebraska, we went and did a big project out there and put in fiber optic internet to the town of Chapel. So that's something that we're very proud of.
Omaha gets a lot of credit for being very advanced and well connected when it comes to telecom and various high tech connections. John, give us an idea, and in large part because of the work that Quantum Fiber is doing, but just how good is Omaha there? How well are we positioned, and what does the future look like for us because of these types of connectivity issues?
Well, fiber optic internet brings that. It's going to bring the future. You're not going to, it's the speed of light. So if anyone out there doesn't really understand what fiber optic internet, that's exactly what it is. It's based on the speed of light. It's no longer the old copper in the ground where it kind of, eventually will corrode. I mean, fiber optic internet is not going to need as much maintenance. It's, again, speed of light. As far as growing Omaha, this is what the future is. The future has been here for several years now, and we're growing faster than we can keep up. We have many customers reaching out to us saying, hey, when are you going to be in our areas? We do have our website. You can go to q.com. You can look and see when you're going to have internet available to you. You can reach out to me directly. I have teams for residential and small business that can go ahead and help you with your needs.
Okay, so moving forward, John, before we let you out of here, I do want to thank you because Quantum Fiber is the title sponsor of the Grow Omaha Weekly Market Report. We affectionately around here refer to it just as the newsletter. But officially, it's the Grow Omaha Weekly Market Report brought to you by Quantum Fiber. You guys obviously are involved in the community. I mean, sponsoring our newsletter like that makes local journalism possible. And, just talk to us about how important that is for a company like yours in a market like Omaha.
Absolutely. Our marketing department does a fantastic job of trying to reach out to the community. One thing that we're really proud of is we want to sponsor local. So whenever we're meeting with customers or small businesses, we want to try to support local. So if we ever do an event, we look for local businesses that can help us sponsor that event to help out the community. We also like to do special things that are with our customers. I believe wholeheartedly that doing business with people who do business with us is the way to go.
And that's definitely the Omaha tradition and the Omaha ethic.
Yes, sir, it is.
Well, John, we appreciate everything you and your colleagues at Quantum Fiber are doing, both here in the community and as part of the Grow Omaha team, and wish you guys the best of success. Thanks for giving us an update and an overview of what the company's all about.
Thanks for having me.
That's John Anzaldo, Senior Midwest Regional Manager for Quantum Fiber. Going to take our middle of the show break for the news. And when we come back, Trenton and Brad and I are going to talk about some big projects that are underway in the downtown and midtown and other parts of the city. So you're listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing and Siding. Back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB. And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals and Trenton Maggot at your service. We're joined by our good friend and colleague, Brad Williams of E&A Consulting and also Brad Williams Photography. The show is brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing and Siding. So with the Collision Center, what they do kind of speaks for itself. You get into an accident.
I know.
Fender, bender, scrape, they take care of it, make it as good as new. And then D&M Roofing is kind of similar because for what Dingman's does for your car, D&M does for your roof.
Nice comparison.
Of all the years that we've been working with those companies, it's the first time we've made that connection. Both of those companies fix something that goes wrong that in many cases is out of your control.
Absolutely. And you don't want them to go wrong. But when they do,
you've got Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing.
Sometimes I've had to use them in the same week.
That's a hell of a week. It's time for our commercial real estate development spotlight of the week, which is brought to you by Noddle Companies. Noddle Companies, the premier real estate development firm in Omaha, in Nebraska, in this part of the country, doing all sorts of projects. Of course, here in Omaha, Sarbin Village, Builders District downtown, Village Point West Medical Campus, River's Edge, and Council Bluffs. But today we talk about a Noddle Companies project in the Papillion Gretna area, and it is Steel Ridge. And Brad Williams reported in this week's construction video that H&H Kia dealership in Steel Ridge is under construction. It's a 2-story building. We've mentioned that before, but one thing that you probably didn't know about that dealership, it's one of 2 new prototypes that Kia has under construction right now in the United States. So very, very impressive. It's going to be very cutting edge, state-of-the-art dealership. Completion is planned for early 2025. It's just across the street from the not too long ago opened H&H Chevrolet dealership.
Yeah, Jeff and Steve Hinchcliffe, father and son team, doing amazing job with a bunch of dealerships. They also own some Harley Davidson dealerships.
Yeah, pretty cool company. And that, my
Good
friends, what's that?
Good people.
Absolutely. And that, my friends, is the Noddle Companies Commercial Real Estate Development Spotlight of the Week. If you want to learn more about Noddle Companies, you can go to noddlecompanies.com. Also, there's a Noddle Companies Facebook page. And then like Exarban Village has its own Facebook page, and there's all sorts of cool information out there. So I mentioned the video. Every couple of months, Brad Williams puts out a construction video, and the August Grow Omaha construction video came out this week. If you want to watch it, just go to the Grow Omaha website, growomaha.com, click on shows on the navigation bar, and then the scroll down will take you to construction video. But Brad, I kind of wanted to talk about some of the projects that were in the video this month. And a couple of them that jumped out to me. I liked the footage of the work they're doing on the Central Library at 72nd and Dodge right now.
Yeah, and this morning on the way to the studio, I noticed they brought in a lot of dirt, kind of raising that site up now.
And I noticed this morning when I drove by it, they're working on it.
Yeah, they're working on.
They're not wasting any time. Yeah, and then of course everyone's favorite, most exciting construction project in Omaha right now is the 677-foot tall Mutual of Omaha Tower. You've got some footage of what that site looking like.
Yeah, there's it's gone vertical in the last few weeks. There's columns going up pretty much around the entire block now. So that'll be neat to see. The one I'm looking forward to is the forms for the elevator shaft are sitting there right on Dodge Street or Douglas Street. And once those go up, I feel like that's when a tower really starts to go up quick.
So I don't know if they're purlings or what, but the footprint, I think it looks small because it might just be the center core where the elevators and stuff go. Have you ever seen?
You mean the middle, where it goes, where it currently goes down into the ground a ways?
Yeah. They were drilling holes for months this summer, so it'll be interesting to see when it comes up how it actually looks.
To me, I think it was about if I remember correctly, about 5 or 6 months of drilling for piles. And it looks like that's all done.
I think they had to get the old ones out first, didn't they, from the library?
A lot of the old ones had to come out, if I remember correctly. I think they left a few of them in there. But if the forms for the concrete shear tower are there, that means
that has to be pretty soon, I would assume.
It's going up pretty fast.
And I feel like it's been a while since First National went up, but it seems like once they started building that elevator, it was almost like one story a week, it seemed like.
It went fast, yeah.
Think about that. That's like 22 years old or something like that.
Yeah, really is.
And I still think of it as new.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I still think of the Convention Center Arena as new, and it's been around for 23 years. It's been open for 23 years already. Maybe that's a sign of age.
We're getting old.
The good thing is they've all aged well, and they all still look new, and that's why people think of them as new, and they've all been kept well. So.
Yeah. Well, especially those two projects. I mean, First National takes such good care of that building, and then Mecca, with all of their facilities, really do a good job of keeping that stuff up. So you also talked about a hotel under construction by the Med Center.
Yeah, right there on 44th and Douglas, just south of Dodge. There's be 2 hotels in that area now. Just really see that area around the Med Center growing fast.
A couple other downtown projects. One is the Center for Arts Engagement. That's going full speed ahead.
Yeah, Kiewit cleared that lot off almost 2 months ago, maybe.
It's the expansion of the Holland Center, and it's it's as expensive as the first Holland Center.
I know, it's crazy. It's not nearly as big, and it's going to be about the same price as the first Holland Center.
You talk about people giving and donating. I mean, that's another great public-private partnership.
I remember when $100 million was a lot of money.
Well, and the Omaha Performing Arts Center, through private donations, just recently opened Steelhouse Omaha, which was also over $100 million. Yeah. So you think about that, just in that short period of time, $400 million for the parks and the Luminarium, over $100 for Steelhouse Omaha, over $100 for the Center for Arts Engagement. It's a lot of donated money for projects downtown in a short period of time.
And like Trent said earlier, it's almost 100 acres worth between the 3 parks and the Holland and the Steelhouse. That's almost 100 acres worth of land.
Well, and then you add the private development going on, $600-700 million for the tower.
Yeah, and let alone all the other projects. Exciting time downtown. And let's not even get started to $306 million for the streetcar, which should kick off next year, construction, I believe. Is it next year or 25? It's got to be coming up here pretty quick.
I thought it was 24.
Okay. What's the Dizzy Mule all about, Brad? That's another project in the video.
That's up north of the ballpark, next to Millwork Commons. It's going to be a mixed-use area. It had some residential, had some retail, and I think it said that some artist space, too, in there. So it's right next to the hot shops, like I said, north of the ballpark. Great area up there. Really cool neighborhood vibe with the park and the Hello Apartments.
And Coneflower.
And I've been to that Coneflower. The only time I've ever had Coneflower in my entire life was the new one in Millwork Commons, because every time I went to the original one, I never wanted to wait in the line.
Somebody from out of town said yesterday said that they drove by Farnham Street and said there had to be 100 people in line.
It's crazy.
I drove
waited
down
an hour for ice cream.
10 p.m. last night. I drove down the Blackstone down Farnham. That whole neighborhood, the bars, restaurants, everything was just hopping. And the Coneflower line went all the way down to the end of the street.
All these nodes, these mixed-use developments are so great.
Oh, yeah, it is. Blackstone, Dundee,
Benson.
Millwork Commons, Benson. I always keep thinking I like Vinton Street from 16th to 24th. I think it's got a lot of potential for continued growth. They're awesome. I love all these places. Okay, another thing. Oh, by the way, with that Dizzy Mule project, there's another project that's planned right to the east of it. It's further behind, just kind of in the early stages of that. Is that the Dispro block, if I remember correctly? I think it's the Dispro block, if I remember.
Drawing a blank. I'll remember as soon as the show's over.
Yeah, because there was a project down there called the
Sounds
Dispro
familiar.
block. Okay, but yeah, so that north downtown sub-market of Dizzy or of Millwork Commons really blowing up.
And the cool thing about the Dizzy Mule is there's historic old brick buildings there, and then they're building up new construction around them. So it'll be a real neat mix.
Hey, one other project I want to point out from this month's Brad Williams Grow Omaha construction video, which is brought to you by Leader Construction, by the way, is Miracle Hills.
Finally.
We've been waiting for this for a while.
Yeah.
Our old office used to be their World Group.
Yeah.
Well, the building's still there.
Yep.
After what seems like years, maybe 2-3 years of nothing going on or very minimal,
Easy.
all of a sudden it's gone, from 0 to 100 in a matter of weeks.
It'll be interesting to see what kind of tenants. Other than UNMC, we don't know who's there.
Yeah, that's probably a good anchor tenant that brings quite a few people to that
Nebraska
area.
Medicine, yeah.
It's looking great. All right, we're going to take our final break of the hour, and when we come back, it'll be the Turner Construction Lightning Round. A lot of things on the list to talk about, so stay with us. You're listening to Jeff Beals, Trenton Magid, and Brad Williams on Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing and Siding on News Radio 1110 KFAB. And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals, Trenton Magid, and Brad Williams at your service. It's time for the Commercial Real Estate Development Spotlight, brought to you by Turner Construction. Turner Construction is building Omaha's future. Just told you a little bit ago about that really cool project at Offutt Air Force Base that Turner's doing. Going to build a 420,000 square foot special super high security military building on the Air Force Base. That just shows you the types of stuff that Turner can do. But they also do build outs, for stores and offices right in the middle of the city of Omaha. The main thing, though, is that whether it's a $400 million project at the Air Force Base or building out your store in some retail strip in the middle of Omaha, they do a damn good job. Take a lot of pride in their work and do it fairly and do a good job of meeting timelines and things like that. So Turner Construction, sponsor of the Grow Omaha Lightning Round. All right, a lot of things to talk about here really quick. First of all, guys, we've got a new restaurant coming to the former Jack and Mary's space, which was briefly Julio's Tex-Mex, Miracle Hills area. It's going to be New England-style restaurant called Sand Point. Cannot wait. I love food from New England.
I think that's a good.
Your microphone's not.
I think that's a good. Something specialty is something new.
Yeah, and it's from the same owners of the Three Kids Lobster and Modern Waffle food trucks, which are very, very popular. Love food from Boston. First round, an 1990s themed sports bar has opened up in the Blackstone district. I've yet to try it, but I did pop my head in there. Pretty cool place. Coming soon is a Pepper Jack's Grill, which is under construction northeast of 204th and West Maple Road. It's right next to the brand new Good Evans store that we talked about last week.
It was good. I went there.
Oh, did you try it? I need to get up there.
Yeah, it's the same owner as all the Pepper Jacks, the Good Evans. They have 4 of them, 2 now in Omaha.
I went to a Good Evans in Kearney, but I've yet to try it in Omaha. Construction has gone vertical on a Take 5 car wash and oil change business on a pad site between Buffalo Wild Wings and Texas Roadhouse in Papillion's Shadow Lake Town Center. Take 5 is based out of North Carolina. They also have one under construction at 99th and Blair High Road.
They're big operators.
We have MW Climbing, an indoor climbing gym out of Lincoln, which has opened a location in the former Westwood 8 movie theaters near 125th and just south of Center.
That's pretty cool. Or you can do it for free down at the park. A little smaller scale, though.
The park? Which park?
The Riverfront Park underneath there. They've got the climbing walls underneath the bridge.
I have not noticed that.
Yeah, it's big.
Yeah, big climbing area.
Yeah.
Underneath what bridge?
Kids love it.
Isn't it
In
underneath
the
Town Street
park
Bridge?
of the Jean Leahy Mall.
Oh, it's part of the playground?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I gotcha. Construction continues on Burger Detour, a new locally owned burger concept, 183rd and West Maple Road. Additional ones are planned for 204th and Pacific and 120th and L Street.
Pacific one has actually moved a little dirt around, so
They have,
started.
yeah. Nothing yet for 120th and L.
No.
Okay, so that is the Turner Construction Lightning Round report. Remember, Brad Williams' construction video is now available. And the best way to see that, go to the growomaha.com site and click on shows on the navigation bar. It drops down, and you want to click on construction video.
And we'd really like to thank Leader Construction for sponsoring that. They've really provided some great material so far, and looking forward to what they have in the future.
They really did. And the music is playing, which means doggone it, we're out of here and we have to stop. Brad, always great to have you on the show.
Hey, thanks. We'll see you soon.
Brad Williams, owner of Brad Williams Photography, also with E&A Consulting Civil Engineering Firm. That's it for this week. I'm Jeff Beals.
And I'm Trenton Maggot.
You've been listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center, D&M Roofing and Siding, and Turner Construction. Chat with you next week at 9, right here on News Radio 1110 KFAB. If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.